Chapter 10, Fragment of Flame Location, Core of the Black Sun, Chamber of Legacy Environmental Buffs, Key Burn Resistance, Stage I, Ancestral Echo Interference, Active Daiko's Age, 7 Karo's Age, 8 Zarek's Age, 12 Flamekeeper Crest activated, Tier 1. The trio advanced into the glowing expanse of the Black Sun's core. Every step shimmered with residual heat, not the scalding heat of fire, but the refined pressure of legacy. The chamber seemed alive, its walls whispering names, battles, and fates that never made it into history. Zarek stepped first onto the central platform, arms folded, scanning the floor. This place feels heavy. Like it remembers too much. Karo closed one eye, adjusting to the burning light with his cerulean vision. The key here is strange. Ancient, but fractured. Daiko took a breath. Whatever this place holds, it's tied to the Flamekeeper's bond. As if in response, the central altar lit with blinding golden flames. A single item hovered above it, a broken fragment of what looked like a Scion battle gauntlet, scorched, and etched with swirling flame markings. Artifact detected, fragment of the Crimson Flamekeeper gauntlet condition, severed, one of 4 remaining signature match, 46% compatibility, host Daiko ancestral lock status, dormant, initiating trial link suddenly, the flame fragment pulsed. The trio were thrown into the air as the room twisted, becoming an illusory battlefield. Scorched wastelands, falling meteors, and burning skies. From the flames rose a massive figure, taller than even Nappa, clad in blackened armor, with a burning mane like fire itself. Trial Guardian, Kaidos the Ember Sovereign Race, Ancient Scion Power Level, 9000 plus function, Combat Memory Construct Battle Conditions, survive and endure 3 minutes under full assault. Zarek cracked his neck. I guess we're not leaving until he's satisfied. Karo took aim with narrowed eyes. No holding back. Daiko's aura flared. Let's test how far we've come. Combat trial begins, time limit, 3 minutes, Kaido struck first, his fist igniting the air like napalm. Daiko narrowly blocked, but the impact sent him sliding across the ground. Karo retaliated with precision ki blasts, striking joints and pressure points, but Kaido's armor seemed to absorb the blows. Zarek vanished into smoke and reappeared behind the Titan, launching a spiraling ki lance toward the back of Kaido's neck. It detonated, but Kaidos didn't flinch, his hand swung, catching Zarek midair and slamming him into the ground. The ground cracked under the pressure of their fight. Kaidos wasn't just strong, his movements predicted them. A living battlefield of instincts. Daiko focused on his ki. Time to test this out, technique activated, Yin-Yang Dragon Wave Mastery. 23% special boost, plus 5%, battle tension surge, a swirling wave of white and black ki burst from Daiko's hands, forming the shape of a dual-headed dragon. It clashed with Kaido's firestorm, the two attacks tearing into each other mid-air. Karo darted between burning craters, charging a condensed sniper shot in his fingertip. At the right moment, he released it, striking Kaidos directly in the eye. Critical hit registered, retinal interference achieved. Zarek, battered but grinning, charged one final technique. Technique activated, Majin Bind, Enhanced Form Mastery, 22% special boost, plus 5% chains of ki surged from his body, wrapping Kaidos for a split second, long enough for Daiko and Karo to combine their attacks and land a synchronized blow that lit up the battlefield. 3 minutes expired, trial passed, Kaidos, combat memory fades. Legacy transferred, fragment absorbed. Flamekeeper Gauntlet, Resonance Imprint 1/4 activated. The battlefield illusion crumbled. They stood once more in the core chamber, the broken gauntlet fragment floating before Daiko before dissolving into his hand. System update, Soul Flame integration stabilized. New passive trait unlocked, Flame Memory Echo. Each time Daiko faces a new opponent, the first strike reveals 10% of their fighting style pattern. Activates automatically once per battle. Skill growth summary, post Kaido's trial. Daiko power level, 170 Yin-Yang Dragon Wave, plus 8% 31% ki sense, plus 4% 24% flight, plus 3% 21% charge energy, plus 3% 18% Karo power level, 165 Cerulean Sharpshot, plus 5% 18% ki sense, plus 4% 20% focused dodge, plus 3% 18% Zarek power level, 238 ki lance, plus 5% 27% Majin Bind, plus 8% 30% ki clone, plus 3% 18% as the gauntlet's power settled within Daiko. A new symbol glowed briefly on the ground, a spiral of flame and stars. I think we're just scratching the surface, Karo said, breathing hard. Zarek laughed. If that was just one fragment, we're in for hell collecting the rest. Daiko nodded, tightening his gloves. Then let's keep moving. Before that flame dies out. Next destination, the Frozen Silence, deep below the Abyss Rift. Chapter 11, the Frozen Silence location, Abyss Rift, subzone, the Frozen Silence environmental effects, severe temperature drain, minus 10% natural key recovery, Daiko's age, 7 Karo's age, 8 Zarek's age, 12 survival rating. Medium-high artifact trace level, 7% after the scorching echoes of Kaido's chamber, the trio descended through a vertical rift lined with black ice and jagged frost. The further they traveled, the colder it became, an unnatural, spiritual chill that numbed even their ki. Karo exhaled through clenched teeth. This cold isn't normal. It's draining my ki recovery. Zarek's arms were crossed, a thin layer of frost already forming on his shoulders. We're in a vacuum of spiritual energy. No ambient ki. We'll have to rely on internal reserves. Daiko's breath came out in a white mist. He kept walking, eyes focused forward. Keep moving. If we slow down, our bodies will lock up. As they reached a wide plateau of jagged glacier stone, the silence deepened. No wind. No vibration. Not even their footsteps echoed. That's when the ground cracked. From beneath the icy stone, 5 figures emerged, thin, hunched, and cloaked in white with faces hidden behind bone-white masks. No key signatures. No heartbeat. Enemy detected, Frostbound Shades, 5X, classification, Soul Drainer's power level, each 140 special note, immune to passive key detection. Attack only upon motion. Karo froze, quite literally. They're hunting off movement. Zarek drew a slow breath. Then we dance still, until we don't. Daiko's hand twitched, just enough. The lead shade screeched, rushing forward with a blur of frost and spiritual wind. Combat initiated. Zarek burst forward with a Majin blink, appearing behind the enemy and sweeping its legs with a low strike. Daiko launched into the air, unleashing a quick ki blast mid-rotation, direct hit. Karo narrowed one eye, charging his cerealian shot with slow, disciplined movement before snapping it forward like a thread of light. The bolt pierced one shade clean through the mask, dust. Enemy downed, Frostbound Shade number 3, power absorbed. Plus 14 ability modifier applied, 10% extracted into host Daiko as the battle escalated, the shades synchronized, creating a frozen mist that disrupted ki flow. Their bodies shimmered, fading in and out of reality. Daiko gritted his teeth. System. Suggestions? Skill suggestion, heat ki manipulation, optional focus condense ki into a heat-based buffer to repel spiritual cold. Estimated effectiveness, moderate. Daiko focused his energy into his hands, imagining warmth and force combining. His aura flared faint orange. New skill generated, heat ki shell, beginner, 0%. He slammed into the nearest shade with a burning shoulder charge, the icy veil around it melting just long enough for a solid punch to connect. Zarek followed with a ki lance swirl attack, targeting another shade from 2 sides using clone dispersion. Karo, breathing heavily, stood firm. Time for a double tap. Technique activated. Twin cerealian pulse shot 2 energy needles fired from each fingertip, spun to drill through frost. With a synchronized sweep of blasts and melee strikes, the shades disintegrated one by one, releasing shards of crystallized souls that faded into the air. Combat complete, environmental zone cleared, Frostbound Shades defeated, 5 Frozen Silence map update, 48% unlock new skill acquired, Heat Ki Shell, Daiko, beginner 0%. Post-battle ability progression. Daiko, power level, 184. Heat Ki Shell, new, 0%. Ki Sense, plus 4% 28% flight, plus 3% 24% charge energy, plus 3% 21% basic ki blast, plus 4% 23% Karo, power level, 178, twin cerealian shot, new variant registered focus dodge, plus 4% 22% ki sense, plus 3% 23% Cerealian Sharpshot, plus 4% 22% Zarek, power level, 248, Mageon Clone Lance, enhanced Key Lance, plus 4% 31% Mageon Bind, plus 3% 33%. As the battlefield settled, Daiko walked toward a glowing glyph half buried in the frost. With a touch, the ground beneath them cracked, revealing a stairwell of black stone descending further into the rift. A voice echoed, not from the chamber, but from deep within Daiko's spirit, "The next flame is not just guarded, it is shattered." Karo's eyes narrowed. "What does that mean?" Daiko looked down into the abyss. "It means we're not fighting just a trial this time. We're facing history." Dragon Baller Chapter 12, Echo's Reborn Location, Chamber of the Shattered Flame, Core of Frozen Abyss. Daiko Age, 7 Karo Age. 8 Zarek Age, 12 Environmental Effects, Temporal Echo Distortion, Chance to relive past battles, memories, or ancestral fragments. Artifact Integrity, 24%, Fragmented Ember Core detected the black stairwell spiraled downward for what felt like hours. The air thickened, not with cold, but with memory. Every breath they took resonated with voices long gone. Karo paused mid-step, clutching his head. "Something's wrong. I'm hearing a voice." Zarek stiffened, pupils dilating briefly. "Not just hearing. I felt my father's key for a second." Daiko remained silent, his gaze forward, narrowed, and sharp. "Keep moving. Whatever's down here, it wants us to turn back." Eventually, the trio entered a circular chamber. It was dim, lit only by fragments of flame trapped in crystallized glass, levitating throughout the space. At the center hovered a massive, broken ember, faintly pulsing. Artifact identified, Shattered Flame Core, a relic from an ancient Scion rite of passage. Fractured by unknown forces. Core memory echoes stored within. Interaction risk, high. Prepare for temporal combat. Ecosystem warning, spiritual echo rebirth in progress. Skill experience modifiers will double during active combat within the echo. PL progression paused during memory instance. The world twisted. The chamber faded. Their bodies jolted, thrown into a flash of white. Flashback realm, Scion bloodline echo. They stood in a wide battlefield on planet Sadala, its twin suns glaring above. Rows of armored Scions clashed with strange, jagged humanoids, beings of energy, whose limbs writhed like liquid steel. Daiko, Karo, and Zarek found themselves wearing old Scion combat armor, instinctively reacting as though the battle were their own. Echo combat initiated. Objective: defend the core flame bearer enemy force, Voltraxian surge beasts, 10x, PL range 200 to 300, that flame bearer. Daiko whispered. "It's me, or it was me." At the center of the memory battle stood a flame-wielding Scion teen with white-black hair. His movements, fluid and raw, were familiar. It was Daiko's soul, before death. Or perhaps, the soul of the Scion infant he had merged with. The trio spread out. Combat highlights: Echo Realm. Zarek's arms morphed as he used his Mageon physiology to shield the core bearer from a beast's laser slash, countering with a spiraling Mageon flare cyclone. An upgraded, wide-range version of his key lance. Karo leapt into the air, eyes glowing red as his Cerealian blood kicked in under memory pressure. He pinpointed vital nodes of the surge beasts and launched Cerealian phantom shots, ricocheting blasts that carved through two enemies with precision. Daiko, meanwhile, stepped into a stance the others hadn't seen before, his form radiating orange-red, his fists humming. New technique learned via Echo, Flame Echo style, Ember Fist, beginner, 0%. A close combat technique that channels flame energy through every punch, leaving burning shockwaves on impact. With a roar, Daiko clashed with the final surge beast. Punch after punch landed, the flaming echoes staggering it until one final ember fist blasted through its chest. Voltraxian surge beasts, eliminated. Echo combat complete, skill gains doubled. Memory synchronization, 98%. The light faded, and the team returned to their own bodies, back in the cold chamber. The flame core pulsed stronger now, two small shards lifting and embedding themselves into Daiko's and Karo's chests. Artifact activated, Flame Echo memory node, bound to Daiko and Karo, permanent bonus applied, plus 5% base key efficiency plus 10% resistance to soul drain or possession. Unlock path, Bloodline Memory Forge, progress 0%. Zarek frowned. The chamber, it's rebuilding itself. Behind them, a new stairwell formed, leading deeper. Daiko held his chest, still feeling the flicker of that other self. I wasn't just reborn. I inherited someone, maybe even myself. Karo nodded slowly. We're not growing stronger just from training or fighting. We're reclaiming what was lost. Post-battle skill progression, echo bonus applied, Daiko, power level, 184, power level progression paused, Ember Fist, new, beginner, 0%. Heat Key Shell, plus 6% Key Sense, plus 8% 36% Charge Energy, plus 5% 26% Flight, plus 6% 30% Karo, power level. 178, power level progression paused, Cerealian Phantom Shot, new variant, beginner, 0%. Cerealian Sharpshot, plus 5% 27% Key Sense, plus 6% 29% Focused Dodge, plus 6% 28% Zarek, power level, 248, power level progression paused, Majin Flare Cyclone, new, beginner, 0%. Key Lance, plus 5% 36% Majin Bind, plus 5% 38% Next Location Unlocked, Ancestral Hall of Origin, Rift of Forgotten Lineage. Daiko turned to his companions. We're not just fighting to escape anymore. We're recovering the past, our past. All of it. Dragon Ball or Chapter 12.5, Emberforge Interval. Before a legacy is reclaimed, it must first be earned. Location, Emberforge Plateau, hidden subdomain within the Frozen Abyss. Time skip, 1 year Daiko age, 8 Karo age, 9 Zarek age, 13 environment buffs, moderate key flow, increased energy recovery, training grounds activated, combat accessibility, controlled duels and weighted training simulations. The Frozen Abyss had not let them pass immediately. After awakening the Flame Echo node, the system issued a new directive. Notice, a resonance delay has occurred due to recent memory synchronization. Recommended action, stabilize the Flame Core's synchronization through focused physical and spiritual training. A gateway opened not to the next area, but to a sealed subdomain beneath the chamber. The Emberforge Plateau. It became their home for nearly a year. Day 36 of training. Zarek stood in the air, his body covered in black-red steam, muscles tensed. Daiko, if you don't dodge this one, I'm splitting the mountain again. Daiko grinned, arms raised in a defensive stance. Then hit harder, lava head. Zarek launched a spiraling, twin lance attack that Daiko barely dodged, flipping midair before answering with an Ember Fist, which crackled upon impact but barely staggered his opponent. The two clashed across the sky, movements sharper, faster, cleaner. Below them, Karo sat cross-legged with his rifle laid across his lap, eyes glowing red as he tracked both their movements. He fired a single phantom shot, and both combatants halted midair as the projectile skimmed between them. Focus. If I can predict your rhythm with one eye open, it's not good enough. Not bad, sniper boy, Zarek admitted. You're catching up. Day 102 of training, in a meditative glade, Karo trained alone. Mentally syncing his energy control with his Cerealian eye enhancements. His bullets no longer just pierced, they curved through terrain, honed by key tethering, a new passive derived from sustained concentration. Day 157, group sparring simulation. Daiko and Zarek stood back-to-back in a simulated 6v2 match against system-generated enemies. Karo, from a simulated ridge, acted as Overwatch. Simulation enemy power level average, 320 enemy count, 6 outcome, flawless victory. Key developments. Daiko unlocked combo technique, Ember Dragon Barrage. Zarek refined Majin Flare Cyclone to compress energy arcs. Karo's Cerealian Phantom Volley achieved sustained chaining effect. Day 300, the Ember Storm breakthrough. A sudden surge of spiritual pressure forced the group into an impromptu trial. They were individually confronted by avatars of their past failures. Karo battled a vision of his father abandoning his tribe. Zarek faced a dark twin version of himself, merciless and void of empathy. Daiko stood against a towering image of himself, the version that never saved the girl. They fought. They won. And they changed. Skill progression summary, post 1 year skip, Daiko, age, 8 power level, 530 Ember Fist, 0% 18% Ember Dragon Barrage, new, beginner, 0%. Key Sense, 36% 44% Flight, 30% 42% auto stamina recovery, 0% 22% Caro, age, 9 power level, 510 Cerulean Phantom shot, 0% 21% Cerulean Phantom volley, new, beginner, 0%. Cerulean Shark shot. 27% 35% focus dodge, 28% 34% key tethering, passive, new level 1 activated Zarek, gauge, 13 power level, 610 Magen Flare Cyclone, 0% 17% Magen Bind, 38% 42% Key Lance, 36% 44% Flexible Mass, passive reinforced stability form unlocked system update, flame core synchronization stabilized. Gate of Origin unlocked. The training dome shook. A new flame corridor appeared, stretching into a horizon of flickering orange light. Daiko stood at the edge of it, fists clenched. "We're ready," he said. "Whatever's waiting, we face it together." Zarek cracked his knuckles. "Then let's see what the past has to offer." Caro nodded. "And make it part of our future."